Hi, welcome to the Unite Jones channel with me, Chris, episode 2. So this week we're just talking about returning to training post-illness, a few tips and advice. I've not been very well lately, past week or so. So I'm returning to exercise this week. So I just thought I'd do a little blog on returning to training post-illness. So I think one of the top tips that I could give is don't go back if you've still got symptoms. If you've still got a cough, if you're still not feeling very well, you've got a fever, if you're still positive of COVID, just don't go. Obviously COVID's a respiratory issue, so it affects your breathing. If you've still got breathing difficulties for like a chest infection or anything like that, if you've got any chest congestion or chest tightness, if you've got a cough, so or the fatigue, so if you've got any of those, I just wouldn't bother, or an upset stomach, because illness with any of those things, I just wouldn't bother going back to the gym. I'd wait until those symptoms have died off and you're feeling better in yourself to be able to go and do that. Any underlying condition as well, so if you've had an illness and you've usually got a chronic condition such as COPD, asthma, if you've got any cardiac issues, anything like that, I'd go and speak to your GP or your physio. Make sure that they're aware of that you want to return to your exercising. One of the other reasons for not exercising with any of those things is obviously when you exercise, you're going to be increasing your heart rate, increasing your breathing rate, and if it's already quite difficult, if you've got a cough or anything like that, it's going to stimulate more of a cough, it's going to stimulate more shortness of breath, and it's going to make it more difficult for you. The other thing is the fatigue as well. So if somebody has got fatigue or a fever, the response of the body is you're going to cause more stress to the body, so it'll make it harder for the body to cope. So if you're exercising when you've got a fever or when you've got fatigue, you could either make yourself feel a hell of a lot worse, or you could slow down that recovery rate. So by potentially doing it when you're not very well, you could then put that response back, or delay your returning to your activities by another week or two, really. So it's important to take that into consideration when you are going back to training. Knowing your body and listening to it as well, that's something that I say for a lot of patients in physio, but a lot of personal training patients as well. So when you're coming back from illness, when any kind of rehab, you need to know what your limits are and how your body responds and what's best for your body. So a few days off is not going to zap you of all of your muscle that you've been trying for the last 5 years. It's not going to take away your PBs, and it's not going to make you shrivel up into Mr. Muscle. It just won't do that to you. It's a myth, really. So it is okay to have a few days off. In fact, rest and recovery should be an integral part in any training plan, and it's even more important when you're not feeling very well. So allow yourself to rest, allow yourself to recuperate. It's not going to affect your performance by any means. So yeah, sleep like Rip Van Winkle if you need to. Other things to keep up with is drinking water. I think it's 8 pints a day. When I'm not feeling very well, I drink even more than I usually do. That's just because when you've had things like an upset stomach, or if you've had a fever and things, it can cause dehydration. So it's important to take the fluids back into your body so that it can help you recover. My eating habits as well, so I tend to stick with eating vegetables, rices, chicken, all eating healthily again is important, just because it will help you recover, and it will help that recovery quicker. Sugary foods I tend to stay away from. They're although they're good in moderation, they're not a bad food. And especially when I'm not feeling very well, I crave like nice foods and the comfort foods. So they tend to be like the ones that are high in sugars. But I also know that foods that are high in sugars, or a high blood sugar level, tends to lead to a narrowing of the blood vessels, and stiffening of the blood vessels as well, which then impacts on oxygen delivery and nutrient delivery to the tissues that need it. So it tends to have a bigger or the sugar, high blood sugar level tends to have an impact on recovery rates. So yeah, eat well, eat them veggies, even more so. Another thing that I tend to say is make sure that you're not becoming the patient. Make sure that you are getting up and out of bed. I know that sometimes it's tough to get out of bed when you're not feeling very well, but small bits of activity, getting up, getting about, making sure that you're getting dressed and things, makes you feel a little bit more alive than when you're not feeling too good. So yeah, get yourself up, get yourself dressed, try and keep your sticks to them normal routines as well, even if you're not going to work. Make sure that you are getting up and doing that sort of thing. I've got 3-4 kids to look after as well, so when I'm at home and I'm not very well, and the other half isn't too well, we've got things like the children to consider, so we still have to get up and do the school runs and things like that. But recently we haven't been well together, so it's meant that we've had to rely on our support network and ask for that help, and making sure that people are aware that we're not very well and that we need that support, and making sure that there are plans in place. If we can't take the kids to school, that they can take places to school, they can take the kids to school, and not just that, it's also about being kind to yourself, realizing that you if we're not well, then the rest of what we take care of or are responsible for can't happen if we're not there to pour into it. So you need to recognize that it's you're the importance. You need to look after yourself so that you can continue to deliver and perform the way that you would usually. So my third tip would be just to start slowly and build up gradually. So I tend to start off just by attempting my warm-up, which is a 5-minute walk and then a 5-minute treadmill jog, around about a 4 on the effort scale, RPE. So I'll see how I go with that. If it's too much, I'll stop, and then I'll go again another day. I think yeah, if I feel shitty, then I'll just stop and I'll leave it, really. If not, then I'll continue with my normal routine. At the minute I'm doing a push-pull legs 5-day split, but I'll do it on a deload, so I'll reduce the weight and I'll reduce the amount of sets that I'm doing as well. So I'll only do 2 sets of each exercise that I do, but then I'll also reduce the weight round about to about 50% of what I'm normally pushing. Again, I'll see how I feel. If I don't feel that I can do it, then I just won't do it. Another thing that I'll keep rating is my RPE, so my rate of perceived exertion, or my effort. So on my warm-up it's normally about a 4 or a 5. I would want to be working at, as I'm beginning again and starting gradually, I'd want to be working at about a 5 or a 6. So I'd keep doing that with the exercises. So if I feel like I'm working above that, then it's too much too soon. So again, just making sure that I'm regularly self-monitoring what my effort score is. I'll do this for about 2 to 3 weeks, seeing how I feel, gradually increasing the weight and the sets to and making sure that my effort level is round about that 5 to 6 level. Again, I'll be checking in with myself, listening to my body, making sure that it's right for me, and that my symptoms aren't getting worse, my symptoms are getting better, and that I'm improving in my sessions. So if I'm managing to get through my sessions and my effort levels are continuous, or I feel like I could have done more, then I'll put that into the next week's plan. I think it's important to mention that recovery and rehab is individual to everybody. The same as the effects of COVID and the effects of illness is individual to everybody. So it's important to remember that just make sure that you're guided by what your body's telling you. So my plan is based on me and what I've found works for my body and when I'm returning to training after illness. But the National Strength and Conditioning Association have developed a 50-30-20-10 rule of returning to sports for athletes, or returning to training for athletes post COVID-19. It's on their website, so that's a great resource for any athlete out there that wants a little more scientific way of returning to their sport really, and returning to training. So those are my tips. So number 1, don't do it if you feel shitty. It's not heroic. Don't bother. Number 2 would be eat, drink, sleep and repeat. Look after you, prioritise what your body needs. And number 3 would start slowly, build gradually. So I've been Chris Jones. This has been the channel for Unite Jones. Episode 2. Take care of yourselves and I'll see you soon. If you like, subscribe. If you don't, comment. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe for all the upcoming content. Any questions, leave them in the comments. My question to you is, what else do you do to help you return quickly and safely? Leave answers in the comments. Other ways to get in touch with us is via Instagram or the unitejones.com website, or the email that you see above. Until next week, I'm signing off. Bye.